Hello everyone, today's video I'll be reviewing Revenge of the Creature. For some unknown reason I lost my old recording footage of my intro, so here's a recording of my intro. Revenge of the Creature was once again directed by Jack Arnold, who directed the first movie. It was once again produced by William Allen, and he also did the story. The screenplay was written by Martin Berkeley. The movie stars John Agar and Laurie Nell, John Broomfield, Nestor Navia, Rico Browning, and Tom Hennessy. Revenge of the Creature was released on March 23, 1955 at a Denver premiere. The official release of this film was released on May 13, 1955. The basic plot to the Revenge of the Creature is the Gill-Man is captured and used as an attraction for an amusement water park. After the success of the first Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, Universal decided, hey, let's make sequels, and maybe we can top the first movie. The first movie was a classic. This and the third movie, not so memorable or classy like the first movie, but that'll be in the next video. This one is okay. It's not a masterpiece, nothing special. It's not the worst. It doesn't top the first movie. On my podcast I do on Rubble with my friend Wolfman Sam, we discussed the topic of horror movies that did not need sequels, and this one should have made the list. This is another horror movie that did not need a sequel. The first movie had a perfect ending. The Gill-Man dies in the sea in his homeworld kingdom under the sea. Frankenstein's monster, Dracula the Mummy, Cars, and the Wolfman were supernaturals, but you can debate and argue if the Gill-Man was a supernatural or not. Well, he died in the last movie from gunshots, so in my own opinion, I guess he was maybe not a supernatural, but I don't know, that's a tough one, so you can decide for your own self, so I don't hate this one. I find it forgetful, not memorable, not one I watched a lot growing up despite owning on the Gill-Man Universal Monster DVD collection set. I don't see myself going back to rewatch this one over and over again, but on rare occasions, if I'm in a certain mood to watch the Gill-Man trilogy for a marathon. This one was rushed, just made for a quick buck rather than trying to make a good sequel. It's lazy when they use the same underwater footage from the first movie. I guess they wanted to save Rico Browning some torture holding his breath underwater again. The characters are not memorable and nothing special. Lucas is the only character in the first movie to come back, and he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes. One would think that he would have been the main focus and the main character and the hero of the film. But no, instead he has a 5-minute screen presence. For how smart he was in the first film and his knowledge on the lagoon, he would have used his knowledge giving advice on how to stop the Gill-Man. The Gill-Man fell in love with a girl, not compelling, dramatic, heartbreaking, or tragedy like the first movie. When watching this movie today compared back to the 1950s, you can point out the SeaWorld felt like a pretty knockoff to Disney World, since this movie does take place in Florida. The year this movie came out, 1955, the first Disney World park opened in California. The very well-known Disney World in Florida did not exist back in the 1950s. It didn't open up until 1971. What's funny about this movie, it stars an unknown Clint Eastwood in one of his early roles before he was a famous actor, writer, and director. He plays a scientist. Sometimes they're one of the actors, writers, directors who were still alive a decade later thinking to themselves, oh wow, I just worked with Clint Eastwood, who knew? In Back to the Future Part 3, when Marty goes back to 1885, the Old West, Marty wears a goofy clown cowboy costume and walks out saying, Clint Eastwood never wore anything like this. What's funny about him saying that, if you look in the background, there's a movie poster of Revenge of the Creature. Little Easter egg for you right there. This one is okay. It's not a bad movie. It's nothing special or great. A rushed, fast-paced movie only made for a paycheck. No effort, art to this movie. It was no Bride of Frankenstein. Universal was not smart to think of The Bride of the Gill-Man. Here is once again my little show and tell of my collection of when I first saw this movie. The first time I saw this movie was on this, as you've seen before, the Creature from the Black Lagoon Gill-Man series from the Universal Monster Collection. And for this review, I rewatched it on Blu-ray for the first time ever. Same movie, but my opinion hasn't changed about it that much. So that was my review of Revenge of the Creature. Like the video, hit the bell button to get the latest updates on my YouTube channel. And stay tuned for The Creature Walks Among Us.